now we've done the unmasking and looking in the wheel arches, we can see that the overspray, the body coloured overspray, which is velvet blue, has been applied before the suspension went in and the brake pipes and the little wiring boxes went on. We've done that as one of the first things, pretty much as part of the final stages of paint colouring and during the waxing process. So we've got a sort of an overspray process in the front arches, sort of replicating what we see on E46s. So we can see that is present there. Wheel arch liners are still yet to go in. And then working our way down the centre line, you can see that the gearbox cross member is now installed, and also the bracket. These both have been powder coated. So that's for the gearbox under tray support, and this is the one for the back of the gearbox. The transmission tunnel, let's just put some lights on. Transmission tunnel side heat shielding system, or the sound insulation, is now been unmasked and put back towards the outside edges, as has some of the components underneath the car. So we've got new fuel filter fitted, cleaned up the brace. We've got new zinced bolts for everywhere that we're working on, like the gearbox mounts. Also the fixing points for the gearbox, for the brake pipe brackets, those have been zinced as well, and new plastic sections in there. You can see some of the cavity waxing that's still present inside. That's where we've filled the cavities and the chassis legs with wax. Lots of cavity waxing's gone on through this car, but now not all of it needs to be cleaned off. We do clean off what we don't want visible, because sometimes it will look a little bit odd if you see sort of like dribble lines coming out. So we do clean that off, even though the factory left them. In a underside restoration like this, you want them to be as clean and as tidy looking as possible. Whereas some locations it's okay, like up here where the fuel tank's going to go, that doesn't matter. That's going to be fully covered, and it shows that it's been done. So again, looking down the chassis leg on the right hand side, you can see the wax that's in there present and looking really smart and finished. A little bit of body overspray colour coming in from the underside before the side skirts were fitted, and those have been fitted now, so that's why you can only see a little bit of that. Going back to the pipe section, so the fuel pipes, they're stainless steel, they have come up perfectly, so we're able to reuse those but clean them. And the brake pipes, they've been renewed for genuine BMW ones, going through, following the parallel lines. That's the fuel vent line there, and then going up around the tank section onto the left hand side to supply the left rear circuit. Now these are the new Reedish Motorsport brackets, so there's one there that comes out perfectly in the middle, and then we've got the fuel tank brackets here, and then that's the other Reedish Motorsport ones there as well. And then they go over the axle, OEM join location, and then go across the top of the axle to supply the right rear brake flexi flicks in bracket, which is that one there as well. That leads us on to the wheel arches at the back, so you can see that we've got the body coloured overspray in the wheel arch, and some of the fuel side fixings have been going back in as well, the vapour boxes, the pipe work going down to the carbon canister, the rear shock absorbers and the top mounts, and also the first part of the new heat shield system has gone back on, which is the rear exhaust silencer heat shield. So many more new things to go back on. Obviously it's still quite a bare car if we look at it from an underside point of view. We've got the few pipes and fixings on. Some of the studs there, those are the two front ones hanging out of the RACP and connecting to the RACP reinforcement plates. Those are what are going to hold and stabilise the front of the rear subframe, and the other two are the ones that go in the back there. And then fuel tank's going to be one of the next things that goes in. New boxes, new plastic wiring, junction boxes have been installed as well, and all the grommets, BMW grommet locations everywhere where we found them, up behind the brake pipe sections as well, by the fuel tank brackets, some at the rear of the RACP, new spring pad rubbers. So as much as we can get brand new from BMW is being applied, unless it was extremely expensive and can be refurbished, like the powder coated items like the subframe, the trailing arms and things like that. So those are going to be coming into view shortly as we go on with the rebuild. But here we get to see